right, guys, the topic we got to get to before we get to Super Chats is Guardians related. Jose Ramirez did a rare interview with Andre Knott yesterday in English, a little rare insight into the mind and the man who we all love here in
nice
Cleveland.
Win by the Guardians, by the way. Yesterday.
Huge
win by the Guardians.
CJ Kayfus, major swing. One part of Jose's interview, though, stood out to me. We're going to play that clip, then I want to ask you a question. But this is Jose talking to Andre Knott yesterday before the game.
How much longer do you want to do this?
So in this game?
Yeah, how much longer do you want to play?
I try to play for like 40 years.
40?
Yeah. Maybe eight more years, 7 more years.
Okay. So you need me to help you get the contract?
Do you want it?
You want it?
I wanna play. I try to play in Cleveland, like 8 more years. But if you're not in Cleveland, I try to play everywhere. So
I get that. I love that.
It's not in Cleveland. I want to play 8 more years. Is there any chance Jose won't finish his career as a Guardian?
No.
There's no way, right?
No chance.
There's no chance?
No chance. Nope.
I mean,
He's playing here. The only way it happens, and by then we'll have owners with money, so it won't matter. And I don't think it's going to take a lot of money. I think what he said there was, well, my hope is that Cleveland thinks I can still play until I'm 40.
Yeah.
But someone will, and if Cleveland doesn't, then I will go there. They're building a statue for Jose Ramirez outside of Progressive Field when his career. I think they should unveil it on his last day of his career. That's what I think he's given to this city, and I cannot imagine. I hope I'm right here. I can't imagine ever seeing him in another team's uniform because he's already told us he left a reported $90 million on the table from a Blue Jays offer to stay here.
Well, no, that couldn't have been an offer.
The reports were he could have made $90 million more had he gone to Toronto.
I think it would have been more than that, but
it could have been.
He was never a free agent. He never became a free agent.
I think what he's told us and what he told us with that move was, I like Cleveland more than I like money.
I hear you. I just think there could be a point that, like, he's 37 and he wants to keep playing, and they're like,
well, are they ever going to say that though? Like,
I mean, that's what teams do.
I know, but I think Jose would say first, because of his perfectionist mentality, he would notice it before and say, you know what, I wanted to play till I'm 40. I wanted a pony for Christmas. It never happened.
Yeah.
If his body breaks down or his skill set erodes, I think Jose is of the mindset that he would say, why am I going to go to Seattle and play for half a year and then have them tell me I'm no good?
Right. I mean, I think under this current contract, I can't think of when it ends off the top of my head, but
I think he's got 5 years left.
Yeah, I mean, he can't be traded without his permission. No, because he's got a no-trade clause. But
he's a free agent in 29.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that long from now.
It's 4 full seasons.
Yeah,
he's 32 now. I don't think it's realistic that he plays till 40.
I don't either.
I'm not
that's a different question.
I'm not saying he can't.
Right. Yeah, that's a different
Julio
question.
Franco played till he was 50.
Yeah, these days, guys, it's pretty uncommon now.
Yeah,
guys,
it is.
Nobody's taking. I don't think anybody's taking steroids anymore or whatever. They're taking other stuff.
If he's within striking distance of 3,000 hits or 500 home runs, that's a different conversation. Because we've seen guys hang on, knowing that they're on the downslide of their skill set, but they hang on for whatever reason. They want to gather a few more numbers. They want to break a couple more records, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And when it's all said and done, he will own the Cleveland Indians offensive record book and Guardians record book.
I see him as a Joe Flacco type. I think he is very confident in his skill set, and if he gets to the end of that contract and he's not signed, he's going to say, I want to play.
How old is he? 32?
He's 32. He'll be a free agent at 36.
Yeah.
At 36.
I'd like him. I think we'd all like him to play here the rest of his career. But
at 36, if he had a decent, would the Guardians pay over market value?
You remember what Detroit did? And I'm not suggesting that we do that, but do you remember what Detroit did with Miggy?
Oh.
Now, granted, now they're out of that tailspin, but it put them in a 5-year tailspin where they just were. You could rubber stamp they were going to lose 100 games every year.
Yeah.
Now, I have never seen that kind of loyalty. They had to know there's no way this guy's got 10 years left on his body.
Baseball rarely does those contracts.
Almost never. Almost never.
But who plays their whole career for one team? It's so rare.
It is rare, but I think I think every once in a while a Miggy comes up.
Yeah, but he didn't play his whole career for one team.
He didn't. He finished with the Marlins, didn't he?
No, he started his career with the Marlins.
Yeah. But he finished his career with Detroit once he ended there.
Right.
Derek Jeter. Those guys are very few and far between. I get what you're
Joey
saying.
Votto, although he played in the minors with Toronto.
I do think that Jose's one of one. He's an odd breed. He's had opportunities to leave. When you start putting all of the greats in the Indians, Guardians pantheon in our lifetime on a list, they all jumped ship for more money. Every one of them except one. He's the only guy that stayed.
The fact that he'll be 36 when he's a free agent, we have to see how these next couple of years go.
Right.
I kind of see both sides. I totally see if he wants to keep playing and the production isn't there, what do you do if you're the
right?
Guardians?
That's the tricky thing. Yeah.
And I think by 2029, I think new ownership will be in place, so that won't be as much of a factor. I don't think. It's just a matter of his production the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And then is he comfortable going year to year on one-year deals? Because I don't think you're committing long-term.
You probably won't. You'd have to get him to say that. But the other thing, too, is obviously the Miggy thing is the outlier. His was like 10 years, $300 million, whatever it was. It was obscene. Most baseball people looked at that and said, oh, this is going to put the Tigers in a 5-year hole, which it did. Mm-hmm. And Miggy quickly became a shell of himself, too. But the interesting thing about Jose is I do think he has a love and a respect for this organization and its fans and the city to where it's not going to be punitive to them. If his skill set drastically erodes and he's not still hitting 30 home runs a year, then I think he would say, you get a hometown discount. I'm 18 years in. Why would I want to put on a different uniform now?
I mean, he's going to be 36 when he's a free agent, so it's not a Miguel Cabrera situation.
No, it's not.
Where
they gave him a 10-year contract when he was like 29, and his body already showed signs of breaking down.
Hey, man,
it would be disappointing to see him in another uniform, but
I don't think it's impossible, but I would say it's unlikely.
I went 0, and I probably should have went .001.
I've been here long enough to remember having the same conversation about Nick Chubb, but it is football.
Well, Nick, but for Nick, he didn't leave on his. It wasn't Nick's accord. If it was left up to Nick would still be here.
I don't know. Do we know that for sure?
Jason,
do we know that for sure?
What did they do to keep him? Nothing.
I don't know for sure. I tend to agree with you.
Yeah,
probably. I can't say definitively.
Yeah.
So, I saw Jim Thome leave. I saw Albert Bell leave. I see Manny leave. And
but all those guys did it in their 20s.
But you would have never thought Jim Thome was going to do it. That's why there was a segment of the population was mad because when all the other dudes jumped ship, they was like, well, at least we got Thome. He's going to stay forever. Then he left.
But the thing about Thome that a lot of people, I think, either have forgotten or didn't realize at the time, his relationship with Charlie Manuel was almost father-son. And he went to the Phillies. So I think in Jim's case, he had seen the writing on the wall that the Indians' stretch of greatness was over, and they didn't really have a plan, and they didn't have the pieces in place to be what he wanted them to be. And he had a chance to go be reunited with the guy who he looked at as his baseball
and it's
godfather.
You can't compare it to any of those situations. Those guys, as you said, all left here in their prime.
Well,
he would not be in his prime
at 36
anymore.
years old, no.
The Thome thing, real quick, the Players Association was putting a lot of pressure on him as well.
I know they were.
To take top dollar. That was the time, I don't remember all the details, but that was the time when, and they still do, but especially back then.
That's why it's even
they
more.
They were really pressuring these guys to take every dollar available.
And Jay, I'm glad you brought that up because don't think that the Players Association wasn't looking sideways at Jose Ramirez.
No question.
And his agent. Remember, his agent became sort of like a public pariah because everybody's saying this is malpractice that this guy's only getting this much money. He had to publicly come out and say, "Oh no, I had nothing to do with this. I did not advise him to do this.
Well,
this is Jose."
If you're an agent, it's a terrible look as an agent.
It is a terrible look, and I'm sure Jose.
These guys are only as good as the contracts that they provide.
That's exactly right.
If he has not won, if he has not done with the Guardians and hasn't won, he wants to go win somewhere else at the end of his career. I wouldn't.
Well, I'll say this: I wouldn't blame him if at 34 or 35, if the Guardians, and that's only a couple years from now, if the Guardians are still in their same position where low team payroll, no superstars on the team, they're in a playoff race. The last 3 games he's played in front of 15,000 fans. That's embarrassing. That's not on the organization.
That's what they've announced. There hasn't been 15,000.
No, that was sold tickets. They even made it a point to say those are sold tickets.
Yeah, right.
That's embarrassing.
Just the last couple years on his contract are club options, year-to-year
Yeah.
club options. So just worth
Yeah,
pointing
I
out.
can never imagine that they're going to.
By the way, somebody said it really quick, but CJ Kayfus, that was a hell of an at bat. If they somehow pull off this last wild card, which I doubt, but if they somehow do it, we'll remember that at bat, that 2-run homer in the 8th.
And by the way, wouldn't have you liked to have that in June?
Well, we had to see more of Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, apparently
No, we
did.
didn't.
I'd seen enough by
And Will
May.
Wilson and all
All right,
these
guys,
other
super
scabs.
chats. We got a bunch, so we're going to fly through these. Bo, real quick. Brian Keller wants to know, Fannin or Hawkinson in fantasy this week?
Hawkinson.
Dragon the Abandoner says, can we recognize that the Browns are an expansion team that is 26 years old, and only 2 expansion teams have ever won a Super Bowl, and it took them both around 30 years to win one?
That's crazy.
That's funny.
The Hot Saucers says, we need to see Isaiah Bond stretch the field and show that speed this week. Daryl Green says, G. Bush, your Darth Vader analysis on B. Moore's celebration was fire. If you don't know, go watch the Ultimate Cleveland Brown show.
Yeah, man.
Christopher Waite says, I wish they would remove Ozzy from the Ring of Honor. He's a snake and a traitor.
No, that's not
That's lame.
That's who's that from?
Christopher Waits.
That's weak.
No,
Christopher.
You're wrong, Chris.
Come on,
Thanks for
man.
watching, but that's a horrible take.
James Mace Jr. says, geez, the way you guys talk about the Browns, I need to take an antidepressant.
Hey, man, they got to make them kicks.
I mean,
I am not allowed to be within 50 feet of
watching
razor
the
blades.
game should
games
make
is
you want
the-
to
Yeah,
take
I
antidepressant.
mean,
The Hot Saucer says, McNuggets, you got to get the next UCSS sponsor to be Prozac.
I heard Prozac in a minute.
Daryl Green says, you guys are wrong and out of pocket.
About what?
about what?
Everything, I guess.
Thank
Salvatore
you,
the
Daryl.
216
Wanna race?
says, that's the main reason I've coped with building the new stadium. The real history of our Browns was stolen by Baltimore Ravens anyway, so why not have a fresh
I've
start?
heard other fans say this. What has been won on that ground?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And there's all kinds of people say, well, what was there before? Was it a dump? Was there garbage underneath there? Was it an Indian burial ground? Clearly the karma in that dirt has been horrible. I'm okay with moving.